Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Games. I'm Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who may play Overwatch if they add a story mode, Steven. Hey buddy.
Let me stop you right there. The mic is right here, okay. The man who will play Overwatch if they add a story mode.
Oh. Yeah. Wow, I'm so happy for you.
It's on Blizzard.
The ball's in your court.
I'm happy.
The ball's in their court.
I'm happy for me. Yeah.
I'm happy for me.
It's just got such a good lore. Come on. It's like
It
Power
does.
Rangers meets G.I. Joe meets Marvel. I don't know.
Okay, all right, yeah. I kind of see where you're going there. But anyway, this is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. It's been a while. We missed last week due to some busyness. All sorts of stuff's going on, but we got a good show. We are going to be talking about some Overwatch 2 rumors, and the rumor is there will be story mode, PvE elements, so that'll be exciting. We're also going to be talking about the Fallout 76 debacle that's happening right now, and then some video game delays, and then, of course, that new Star Wars trailer, because Steven, the Star Wars big boy, actually kind of liked it, so we'll see where it goes. But before we do any of that, we got to talk about housekeeping, because, Steven, do you know what this weekend is?
The first weekend in November.
It is the first weekend of November, but it's also Extra Life, which is our 24-hour live stream that we are going to be doing in support of sick kids. It's supporting the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. We are supporting a local hospital here in Jackson, Mississippi, called Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital. Fun story. I think I was actually born in this hospital, so that's kind of cool. But anyway,
really?
We're raising money for them.
Didn't know that was your origin.
That is my origin. That is the beginning of Jake's. Anyway, we're raising money for them, supporting those kids. Last year we raised, I think, $501 or something like that. Yeah. So really, really exciting. We're going to try for $500 again this year, hoping we can go past that. But we're going to just keep it at a bar we know we can make and hopefully surpass that. So it's going to be really exciting. But what that means for you guys is we are going to be streaming for 24 hours starting Friday at 7 p.m. That's Friday, November 1st at 7 p.m. Central Time, going until November 2nd, Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So literally 24 hours we will be playing video games and other things. We've got some other fun things planned.
There's some surprises up our sleeves.
Yeah. We're going to be playing stuff like Destiny and Anthem. And like we said, we got some surprises up our sleeves. We're going to bring back some old things that we haven't done in a while. We're going to try some new things. It's going to be very exciting. So you're going to want to tune in.
We're going to try our absolute hardest to entertain you guys for 24 solid hours.
And you don't have to be there for the whole thing. We'd love for you to be there for us the whole time, but just pop in, pop out as you see games. We're going to be posting a list of games that we're going to be playing to our Discord. We'll probably share those out on our social medias as well. So if you're not following us on Facebook or Twitter, that's both at Chortle Games on Facebook and Twitter.
If you are not joined on our Discord right now, this is the most important week to ever be on our Discord.
Pretty much,
because a lot of stuff is going to be put on there that's very relevant, very necessary to participate in Extra Life.
Exactly. But anyway, if you don't want to tune into the live stream, but you do want to help, you can already go to chortlegamesextralife.com and you can go ahead and donate. We're going to have reward tiers for like during the live stream. Last year we did, I think it was $20, and you could pie me or Steven in the face.
What was the ratio of Stevens to Jakes and pies in the face?
I don't remember doing a count, but I bet Kalen, our main mod, knows. It's somewhere in the lore book.
In the moment I counted, and my number was much higher than yours.
It was.
Which might say something about myself.
But we got some other fun things. We're not going to be doing pies this year, but we are going to do some other fun things. It's going to be really cool. One of which, I'll just go ahead and tell you. we are going to have a $500 reward tier that if someone or a group of people pays $500, so really if we just meet our goal and everyone indicates that they want all of this goal money to go towards this, if we get $500 donation, Steven and I will play Fortnite for an hour. Which, for anyone who maybe this is your first time ever seeing us, you're like, what, they don't want to play the most popular game in America right now, in the world? Nay. Steven hates Fortnite, like, with a passion. If you've been on the channel at all, you know how much Steven hates, like, really hates Fortnite.
It basically ruined my life.
Literally. He really hates it. Yeah. I am, you know, indifferent to it. But if
But you know what I love more than I hate Fortnite? Helping kids.
Helping kids, helping those beautiful kids. So, for the kids, baby. So anyway, that's just a little sneak peek. We will have other rewards that are much cheaper than that, but that's a big one. If you want to pool your friends
that's like,
together.
When we say much cheaper, we mean like much more, much cheaper.
Like that's like $5 and $10 and other things like that. So anyway,
that's like
or you can just give.
Go ahead.
You can just give, you know, just to give whatever you want to do. But you can make us do funny things. So, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time.
And if you have any ideas of what you would like to see as a donation reward, again, join the Discord. We have a page for Extra Life right now.
Mm-hmm. And you could put those in.
Post what you would like to see. Yeah. It's not guaranteed that it'll make it, but we're
open to ideas at this point.
Yeah. We're taking ideas.
I believe it was one of our subs. His username is Stowe. Or the Wild Stowe, and
right now he's the Wild Spook because we're still in October.
Spooky time. One of his reward tiers was we do a math problem for a donation. Now I am no math expert, and Steven is no math expert, but we think that's hilarious, so that's going to be a reward tier. So anyway, you know, just whatever. So if you want to see us do stupid math, there's going to be lots of fun stuff, and I don't want to spoil anymore. But you know, anyway, it's going to be fun. Stay tuned. You'll see those on the live stream. But if you, like I said, if you want to just go ahead and donate now, get it out of the way, support us while you can, and then, you know, catch what you can in the live stream, just go to chortlegamesextralife.com. Help us out. It'd be great. Do it for the kids. But anyway, that's enough about Extra Life. Again, that's going to be November 1st, 7 p.m. Central Time, going till November 2nd, Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Literally 24 hours. I don't know what we're going to play at 2 and 3 and 4 a.m. yet. We're still figuring that out, but it's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
You know what? Honestly, just since we're taking suggestions for like donation rewards, if any of you are like the time, like, thinking to yourself, man, the time that I'm going to be able to be in this the most is like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Central Time. Tell us what game you'd like to see us play at a specific time so we can consider it, because right now there are some time slots where we're just like, man, we just don't know who's going to even be watching. So, like, if you have any suggestions on what to play at certain times, let us know.
Yeah.
Please include time zone, because a lot of our people are, like, even overseas.
Yeah, it's time zone is such a crazy thing. It's very difficult to do. Time. Speaking of time, we got delays, Steven. Lots of delays. Last of Us 2, delayed. Watch Dogs.
So weird.
Rainbow Six, and Gods and Monsters, which I don't even think had a release date.
It didn't.
I think it just had a release window.
Technically,
all delayed.
Neither did Rainbow Six. The only one that had a set-in-stone release date
was Watch Dogs.
And, like, I mean,
I hate it now.
They're Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They were going to get delayed. We all knew it. No one was surprised. It was just kind of like Last of Us got delayed, and people were like, oh, no, what? And then Ubisoft was like, yeah, and like 3 of our games are delayed too. And we were just like, uh-huh.
It is kind of funny how they did that. Like, obviously, I don't think they consulted with Sony, but I think they saw this happening in the news, and they were like, ooh, let's do this now. Because, sure, it still got media attention because that's 4 games that were delayed. But I think people are probably more upset about Last of Us 2 than they are any of the Ubisoft games.
But you know what's interesting about Watch Dogs especially getting pushed?
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft has never been one that is shy of releasing a game that's not ready. But like they're pretty much their whole shtick for like 2015 to 2018 was actually screw it. Their whole shtick since 2015 has been don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness, basically. Like release a crappy game, then just be like, we'll fix it, and then fix it. And so like to me, it's strange that if Last of Us 2 affected their decision at all, you'd think it would just be like, oh, we're definitely keeping this release date because then you've got less competition for the money.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like they already knew they were going to have to delay things.
Yeah.
And they saw Last of Us delay, and they were like, let's do it now.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But like, to me, it just seems like it's against their nature either way to just be like, because they gave their reason as basically quality assurance. Like, we want to make sure we can make the best game we can. Which, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great move. I'm good on them for taking the extra time they need. It's weird. Like it's different for them.
Well,
and,
so they had a investors call about these delays and just kind of talking about Ubisoft, and Yves Guillemot had a lot of interesting things to say. He talked about how they considered Breakpoint a disaster. Like, it did not sell well. It did not do well. They talked about how Division 2, while not a failure, did not do as well as they hoped it would, and certainly not as good as Division 1.
That's a huge shock to me. That, like, for him to say that, like, critically, well, as far as initial sales, Division 2 had to have done well. Like, it sold a lot of copies. It had great reviews across the board. People were talking about it. The problem that Division 2 ran into, and this may be what he's referring to as it being a failure, was that its player base evaporated.
Yeah.
And they're coming back, but its initial sales and its critical reception was great.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
Well, and again, I don't think he meant it did bad, but they had predicted it would do much better. And so they were, I think they were kind of from what the sales call or whatever, the interest, or not interest, investors meeting call, what it sounded like was they were basically counting on those two games to kind of really drive their fiscal year, and they're not going to be doing that. So that's part of why they delayed these games, is because basically they want to look at them again and say, okay, these really have to knock it out of the park. How can we make it perfect? And then he talked a lot about different game elements and like unique things and like unique ideas that the games have needing to be fully fleshed out and fully looked at before they just, kind of like you said, typically they just release it and fix it later. They really want to have it working, which Watch Dogs, I think, is a great example of this. They're a whole Legion idea where you can literally be any NPC in the game. Like, for that promise of, not seeing the same exact character a million times, that promise being true is really going to have to take some work. Like, I mean, I know the whole time they were talking about this of like, I think I distinctly remember somebody on an E3 stage saying, there's no repeating voice actors, there's no repeated, motion capture, there's nothing. And you and I were both like, bull, whatever. Like, there's no way. Yeah. You guys are really going to go that far. And they still may not. Yeah. But I think now they've at least said, maybe we really, really should try to make sure all of this is as good as it can be.
Yeah, the thing with Watch Dogs is that, like, everyone that saw Watch Dogs Legion at E3 had the same response.
Right.
Sounds great.
We'll believe it.
Where's the butt?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where's the butt? I'll believe it when I see it. And most people walked away from it thinking like, wow, this actually seems to work. Mm-hmm. I don't remember hearing like, I remember hearing something like no repeated voice actors, no repeated animations and stuff like that. But that may have been in a context that we both misremember, because I do remember at E3 an interview with a Ubisoft guy saying that like there are like categories for characters where like if an old person, for example, old people will likely have a lot of the same animations and stuff like that. So like because I feel like I remember somebody saying something like that because I remember us talking about it.
I think,
but
honestly, I think a lot of it was just fluff. But again, I think they're looking at it and saying, maybe we need to really make sure this works.
Right. But again, I am very happy to hear that Ubisoft has made the call to decide we need more time. And as much as I enjoy Breakpoint, even though I probably won't play it ever again until somebody's like, hey, let's play Breakpoint, because I've just got no one to play it with really, except for Mike, and our schedules are kind of different. Right. And so like, it's not a solo game, but you remember I said I enjoyed Breakpoint, but it really
the loot system
suffers from it really suffers from Ubisoft saying make it like every other game we make. Yeah. And so hearing their takeaway being like, we need to make our games stand out as individual games. That's great because like Watch Dogs Legion looks and sounds like it could be the game to finally break the mold that a lot of Ubi's open world games are caught in. And I really hope it is because it's very ambitious, and I really want Watch Dogs Legion to succeed because it's the Watch Dogs that a lot of people have been waiting for.
Yeah, same here. I'm so excited for it.
As much time as they need to make it work, do it. Make it work. I'll be there with money in hand when it's ready.
Yep. And the other thing that is kind of great about this is there's a lot of games that were coming out in that early 2020 window already. So to have this just be one less game in that pile, I'm okay with, because I'm going to need all the time I can get. To backtrack just a little bit, Last of Us 2 also got delayed. I said that at the top, but then we started talking about Ubisoft. This is probably the most interesting delay to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, we had the first state of play in several months. And leading up to it, it was, hey, this is going to be a Last of Us Part 2 state of play. And I kind of knew, and I kind of was, we were all talking in our channel text message of, oh, we're probably going to get a release date. We're probably going to get a release date. This is when it's going to happen. We finally get to that state of play. They end and announce the release date. And then on top of that, they have this huge press event where media comes in and they played the game and they left and we're talking about impressions. And it was just a great media beat. And then 4 weeks later, they delay the game. And
by 3 months.
A 3-month delay within 4 weeks of announcing the release date. Oh, I'm not mad about the delay at all. No. Make it the best it needs to be. Take the time you need to make it. But like, how did their media people who were planning this and whoever would have been in charge of the release date and how did they?
Who dropped the ball there? Like,
yeah. Like, who didn't? And like Neil Druckmann, who's is he the creative director for this or the game? I'm not sure exactly, but he's kind of the voice of. You hear him talk about a lot. He talks about. He's like, okay, I know what you're all thinking. Didn't you just announce the release date? Like, what is this? And he talks about how in the release date, when they announced the release date originally, they had the levels that the media were going to play pretty much panned out and done. But over the weeks after they announced it, or I guess even after they had nailed it in, they realized that to finish the game and keep it at the polished level that the media levels that they had done it was going to take a lot longer. And so in order to avoid crunch and to in order to meet that deadline, we're pushing it back or whatever. Which, like, sure, maybe that's part of it. But how did you not, like, if there was any doubt, and you hadn't released the announcement yet? Why not?
There's something we don't know yet. Honestly, like, maybe the team didn't feel too confident about the release, and maybe Sony was like, you need to release it here because the closer you release it to the PS5 is more units we miss out on because people don't want to justify having a game for only a few months before they trade in the system. So Sony probably pushed for that release date, and maybe they had their hesitations, and maybe they just learned. They used that press thing to be like, look, everyone loves this, but the rest of the game, as of right now, is not meeting the standard that they've come to expect from what we've shown them. So let's make this thing consistently great. Like, I don't know, that seems like a hard sell to make, to be like, hey, this good news we just got, let's turn it into bad news.
Well, and I do think most people have reacted pretty calmly, especially for the internet and gamers in the internet, nonetheless. People have been pretty chill about it. But it just, to me, I mean, you and I both have PR backgrounds, Stephen. And so this just seems like a really sucky thing to have had to turn around and have a blog post saying, hey, we just told you the release date, but we're already delaying it. Like, I don't know.
Because that release date was plastered everywhere. They talked about it so much. Like that's probably the quickest turnaround for any release date I've ever seen after announcement, and it's a big title to do that to. And so, like, it was probably a PR nightmare. Not necessarily like, not from the sense of like, oh, you liars and everything, because honestly, the public opinion of delaying games has absolutely flipped since basically the age of Destiny, like the games as service on console. Like, people used to be like, oh, a delay is bad. Like, delay means that they don't know what they're doing and it's gonna suck. But now, like, a delay means, thank God, they acknowledge that there's a problem and they're going to fix it, because people are tired of playing incomplete games because it's the new standard. So it's just kind of interesting
because it really is an interesting kind of side topic involved in this, because, you know, as a community, I think we're a lot more aware of what is crunch and what does that mean for people's livelihood and, you know, well-being of creators and developers. And so I think we all hear about, you know, this horrible crunch time that people are having to do to make games within a certain time frame, and I think we all generally are like, ugh, that sucks. And so when we hear about, and I think companies are almost kind of using it as like I'm sure there is some honest, genuine intention of, we don't want to crunch our workers, so we're going to say, just be open and transparent and explain that we're not going to crunch our workers. But I also think they know that we know what that word means, and we know that crunch is bad. So when they say, hey, we're going to delay this because we don't want crunch, and then gamers, we all kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, we don't want to be jerks to people. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting how, that has kind of just all changed.
Oh, absolutely.
And as a community, we've developed a little bit. We've grown up a little bit. It's great.
Yeah. Companies, they leverage a lot, like knowing like, okay, if we delay this, it's called spinning. Like in the world of public relation, that is called spinning a story. Even if like thinking crunch could happen, but honestly it's doable. But the bottom line is we need to push this. So what is the best way we can push this back and retain public opinion? And that is look at see the developers first, showcase the developers as humans. Because you can't argue with, we don't want to push these people too hard because they are human just like you. You can't argue with that relatability by bringing down the creators of these worlds and these experiences to your level. We understand what it's like to be tired. We understand what it's like to be pushed too hard. So, yeah, companies do that all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of spinning a story, let's talk about that new Star Wars trailer. Stephen, what did you think? I'm honestly... I don't know enough about Star Wars to really get too into it.
So,
but what do you think? You're the big Star Wars. You're the Star Wars big boy.
I'm not.
You are.
Although next month I'm probably going to be playing 2 Star Wars games on the channel. But Okay, so the Star Wars trailer. I think that it was a good trailer. It actually got me interested and excited. I'm not invested in this new trilogy at all. I'm invested in how much I hate it because it's garbage. But I do think that this could be a good movie. But at the end of the day, it's just like, great job. What a trilogy. You spent the first 2 movies with your thumb up your own butt, and then the third one, you nailed it. Good job. That's like The Matrix in reverse. Like, no one talks about how good the Matrix trilogy is. They talk about how good the Matrix 1 is. And then they're just like, and those other 2 had good action scenes. And that's kind of how I feel about this trilogy, is like, no matter how good this movie is, you can't save the trilogy. But that being said, I really liked how involved all of the main characters seem to be in this. Like Poe, Finn, Rey all seem to be important. They all seem to have like big scenes and action parts and stuff, where like Poe is probably the closest thing I have to a favorite character in this new trilogy.
He's got a new ship.
He what new ship?
There's a new, like,
X-Wing?
orange X-Wing, yeah.
He had that in the first one.
Did he?
Yeah, he had an orange X-Wing, I think.
Oh, well, every breakdown I've seen
Anyway.
of the trailer is like, we get a glimpse at Poe's new ship, which was spoiled in the toy reveal, and I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, I think he had an orange and black X-Wing, but this one's probably new in some way. I don't know, but I like that we might finally get them as characters and like get them actually doing things, because in like Force Awakens, Poe was supposed to die, and they were just like, oh, let's not kill him.
yeah.
In The Last Jedi, Poe was being portrayed as an idiot, even though they failed to make him seem wrong, but they succeeded in making everyone else in the movie think he was wrong.
Right.
Like, okay, hold on. I'm going to zero myself, and I'm going to judge this movie based on the trailer and not based on my sour opinion. Okay, here we go.
He's back.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm back. We're good. We're zeroed out. The action looks good. The cinematography looks dope. Like, it really does. Like that shot of the TIE fighters flying over the reflection of the mountain, like that looks symmetrical. That's
the ice cap thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was cool. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of different locations, which I think is neat. It seems like there's going to be some new stuff, which is good for Star Wars, because that's kind of a problem that the trilogy has faced up to this point. It seems like 3PO might die.
Yeah, what's
which is
up
really
with
sad.
that?
So I watched a breakdown that suggested that maybe 3PO is interfacing with some, like, a ship or some kind of system, to where like he becomes the AI that controls that system. It's what a robot did in Solo, A Star Wars Story, apparently.
Right.
She interfaced with it, and so she became the ship, but she was stuck as its AI.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like, maybe that's what 3PO is doing, or maybe, and this is kind of what, like, where my head went when Poe said, "What are you looking at?" or something like that. Or he said, like, "Looking at my friends one more time," or something. I thought, well, what if, for whatever reason, he's going blind, and that's why he had red eyes in the first trailer. So what if it's a literal, I'm looking at you for the last time because I'll never see anything again? I don't know. It makes more sense to have him,
Die.
quote unquote, killed off, because you know they're just changing out the guard. Like, they're keeping characters that they don't have to have portrayed by aging actors.
Right.
Like, Chewie can be anybody, R2D2 can be anybody, so on.
Yeah.
So it would make sense with the pattern that they've done to just kill him off.
Yeah.
But I do love 3PO. But I just kind of roll my eyes with a lot of the Rey and Kylo stuff, because, like, and chime in at any point, because I'm ranting a little bit, but with Rey, she's like, "You don't know me. Nobody knows me." And it was just like, And that's a problem, isn't it, Ray? Like, we should probably know a little bit about our main character, shouldn't? And it almost felt like one of those things, kind of like Mysterio looking to the camera and being like, "People will believe anything these days. They're idiots." It's like it was J.J. Abrams saying like,
"Yeah,
we understand, but we're still doing the thing."
Well, and that's I'm frustrated also with whatever their whole rivalry thing is going on, because we know about, spoilers if you're not watching any of the trailers, but you should have not listened to this anyway. But the last trailer we got revealed Dark Ray, and is Ray gonna go evil, or is there an evil Ray somewhere? And I think what most people kind of jump to is, oh my gosh, Ray is a clone. That makes so much more sense for everything about her. What if she is a clone of Luke somehow, and or whatever? Who knows?
She's a clone of good old Sheev Palpatine. That's what she is.
Yeah.
His first name's Sheev. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Like, yeah, his name's I think it's Sheev Palpatine. Like, it's weird.
Huh. Well, anyway,
bad first name.
Her being a clone, but then why does she and Kylo have this whole thing going on? Like, are they siblings somehow? Are they, what is this whole, why does he know her? I don't understand. So I'm ready to figure out. I wish they would just explain this whole movie.
So I think that the best way, and remind me before we move on, I've got one more shot that I want to talk about, but I think that what's probably going to happen is that it's probably going to be a vision where Rey is like, oh, this could be me. It's tempting her to join the dark side. But what I would absolutely love is if I think the clone plot would be interesting and it would make sense. But I would love if it was a vision and Rey was like, yeah, I'm going to join the dark side. That sounds like a good idea. And then Kylo does a face turn. Like in wrestling, they call when a bad guy becomes a good guy a face turn, and when a good guy becomes a bad guy, a heel turn. So I would love if we had the double switch, the face turn, heel turn, where Kylo becomes sees the error of his ways. Because honestly, Kylo's arc is much more interesting than Rey's at this point. Rey doesn't have an arc other than, who am I? You've been trying to figure that out for the past 2 movies, and we don't have any indication towards that. But Kylo is clearly conflict. He's got conflicting emotions. He's torn, and so it would be more of a cathartic ending, I think, to have Kylo come back. And Rey, honestly, I don't why should we care about her? She's no one. So she's much more disposable as a character that's because we've never seen a Jedi, we've never seen it. We've seen he was once a good Jedi and then he became bad. Well, I guess there was Anakin, but we need to see more of that, because people keep talking the dark side is so tempting and everything, but we don't really get to see it actually happen except for with Anakin. And even he did it through a means that we can understand. Right. Because it was to save Padme. But anyway, I don't know. Again, I just kind of roll my eyes at the whole Rey Kylo thing. I never thought it was interesting. It was the question for the sake of asking the question. Why this? Why that? How? What? We don't know. Wait 3 movies and find out.
And maybe not find out anything.
And maybe still not find out. But one shot that I wanted to talk about, that the same trailer breakdown I watched, it was New Rockstars. They do a lot of really good film breakdowns and trailer breakdowns, and they're pretty fun. But they looked at the shot of the Resistance fleet assembling.
Yes.
Where the Millennium Falcon's in front and all the ships are around. There are apparently so many Easter eggs in that shot. Because there are ships from, I think, the Clone Wars show, Rebels, Rise of the Resistance, all that kind of stuff. And apparently, and I didn't see it, I didn't see where he was pointing to. I was like, what, where? I was trying to move other ships out of the screen, show me where it is. But he said that he thought he saw the Raven's Claw, which is Kyle Katarn and Janor's ship from Jedi Knight. And if that, look.
And Steven almost died. He had a heart attack.
Like, when he said that, I was like, my eyebrow just about shot off my body. It raised so high when he said that because it was like, prove it. But that would be, again, the plot thickens where like Jedi Knight is being treated seriously again. So like, why is that? What's going on? So if the Raven's Claw is there, like, sure, it's going to be just like, oh, cool, look at all this stuff on the screen. But still, like, that's an interesting choice because you've got no shortage of ships to throw in as cameos in this shot. So why that one? I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know either. Speaking of...
But it looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good.
I'm excited.
But a lot of people thought that Last Jedi looked good, and yeah, well. Next topic.
Next topic is Overwatch 2. This is fairly fresh news for us. This show airs on Monday, 12 o'clock, but we pre-record it Sunday. So this is kind of breaking news for us a little bit. But there's a rumor about Overwatch 2 being announced at BlizzCon this coming week. And the rumor is it will be Overwatch 2. It'll have a new logo. It'll have new game modes, new maps, new heroes, and PvE features, and seemingly revised hero abilities for the PvE experience. So we were kind of looking through some kind of leaked images, and we're not sure what's real and what's not. But there was one image we saw, and it was like it showed Tracer, and then it was almost like not a skill tree, but like a skill selections page.
And an ability selection, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there were like 6 abilities that you could pick, like 4 or something that she could have equipped to use.
So
which
a
is
few
kind of
thoughts.
interesting.
Were you still talking?
No.
Okay, cool. A few thoughts on there. First, I totally buy the Overwatch being PvE focused thing because that's been a rumor for a long time. Like that was mentioned in the rumor space like 3 or 4 months ago, I think. So the fact that it's coming back makes me think like, okay, maybe there's something to that. But it also like what both rumors, the rumor from back then and the rumor that we just heard about, both of them say that it's not featuring PvE, it's focused on PvE. PvP will be there, but it's going to be much more of an emphasis of PvE content where like maybe there's a story mode or maybe there's missions that they're going to continue to release and PvP will be present, but it won't be center stage, which sounds beautiful to me. Regarding the picture that we saw of Tracer, I think I said this to Brody because Brody was the one who sent this to us. I think it's fake. And the reason being is because if you look at the language used in the abilities next to Tracer, let me just read you some of them and what kind of threw up red flags for me. Where is it? Recall causes damage to all recently damaged enemies. That, like, recently damaged and... Like that just you would not see that in any skill tree anywhere because for anything that's like it would say something like enemies damaged within the past 5 seconds, something like that. It would be very straightforward, no room for interpretation. And this has like flash blinking through enemies damages them. Okay, damages for how much? It just.
And it could just be an early,
It could.
Leaks like this typically are things that aren't set in stone.
I would be surprised. And I'm not saying that it's not real. I just would be very surprised if that was legitimately like from what they're working on.
Right. I'm excited because
I am too.
Overwatch. I mean, obviously, I think we all on the channel like Overwatch. We have not done a ton of Overwatch on the channel. Actually, Overwatch was either our second or third Let's Play that we ever did on the channel back when it was just me and Brody. And then one of your first videos that we did with you, Steven, was Overwatch, the Halloween event. Because we Skyped you in for that one. And then I don't know. We've played a couple times. I think we have gone back and done the Halloween event. But again, the reason I like the Halloween event is it's PvE. And there was the cool like flashback story missions that they've done over the last couple of years. I'm forgetting what they called them. Like archive decryption or something like that.
Brody and I played one of those on a stream where you played as like Reaper, McCree, and a few others, and that was really cool.
Yeah, and it was a story mission, right? And you just kind of played through this whole thing. I thought that those modes were so fun.
Yeah.
And to have like a story mode where like you'd be playing through different missions like that, as a different set of characters each time, or even I think it would be kind of cool if you picked a character at the beginning of the game and you played through like their story. And like we're doing different missions with them and maybe another team or something. I don't know, but I'm excited. Either way, I want to play this.
I think what they could effectively do is make it to where, because Rainbow Six Siege did this, where their only PvE content, aside from Terrorist Hunt, was their campaign in massive air quotes, which is where you play in specific scenarios where it's introducing the characters, but it's literally just playing the tutorial.
Right.
So I think it'd be cool if they had like a very, very short campaign, even if it was like one mission, where you play as each character, but there's story for that character, and then the actual like co-op campaign, you pick heroes.
Yeah, pick a team. That way you're whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear more about this. Like when they actually announce it.
Because to me, like, I have purchased Overwatch 3 times, and I've returned it less than 24 hours after I purchased it each time, because I purchased it for the Halloween event. And for me, I want to like it, but I don't do PvP. I don't do player versus player, hero shooters, anything like that. But I love the style of Overwatch because it's basically a Saturday morning cartoon if it was a video game.
Yeah. They've got great lore.
It's great.
Great characters.
Yes.
Just
and
give
like
me that.
It is begging to have a story mode. So let's give it a story mode. Put me in there.
Put
Tag
me in, coach.
I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Also, I'm curious. This is just a question for the comments, and I haven't asked my question yet. Anyone watching this, chat or comments afterwards, who do you think my main was in Overwatch when I played? Just curious. Let us know.
Continuing with kind of a sad disaster, I guess, a little bit. Fallout 76. So Fallout 76, when it was announced, I think Miles, who, if you've been with us a while,
cried.
If you've been with us a while, you know who Miles is. He's been on the channel on and off, not a lot in probably a year, but he watched E3 with us and reacted to some stuff. He was so excited about Fallout 76.
He cried tears of joy when that whatever that song is, West Virginia, whatever they call it. He cried. He like if you and I'm not picking on him. I'm picking on him a little bit, but
I'm not picking on him. Well, I am
if you watch our reaction to Fallout 76, like you can see like tears in his eyes because he's just so into it. He's like, yes, I need this.
And you and I we knew as soon as they started talking about how it's open world and you have to work with other people and yada yada. You and I both immediately were like, oh, this is just Sea of Thieves all over again. And like I will be the first to tell you, I love Sea of Thieves. I wish I could play it. I can't. I can't deal with other people coming and the point of the game is for you to go mess up other people. And like that's where the fun in the game is, or at least where some people are going to find the fun. And it's like, that's great. Yeah. If that's what you want to do, I don't want that.
There is no game if no one's being a dick. That's a terrible design for anything.
It's super successful. They are having a great time, but it is a very specific audience, and I am not.
Yes.
I was just telling somebody the other day. They were asking me about Sea of Thieves, and I was telling them I love the sailing in Sea of Thieves. If I could just play the game, it would be great. But that's not how it works. And there's so much stuff in it now. Like I think one of my critiques, other than just people were really being a dick to you or whatever, was the point of the game was just to get cosmetic things, and at a certain point that kind of dried up. Like that wasn't worth it. But now there's like the Megalodon that you can go after. There's the Kraken. There's like ghost pirate ships. There's ghost forts. Like there's or skeleton forts, whatever. And there's pets. You can get monkeys and parrots and all sorts of stuff. Like I would love to go back and play it, but I can't until they say, hey, we have private servers now where just you and your specific friends can go fight skeletons, like until they announce that, I'm not going back into it. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about Fallout 76. When Fallout 76 released, it got a bad rep, and it just, the ball kept rolling, It was a horrible, horrible catastrophe. At E3, surprisingly, they came out and talked about it. We thought they would just forget it, that game was dead and gone. They said, no, we're committed to this game. We're going to make it work. This past week, they came out and announced Fallout First, which is a subscription service to Fallout 76, which is a game you pay for. It's not a free-to-play game. It is a game that you pay for, which I'm sure you could get it for cheap now, but still, you're paying for the game. And then it gives you a subscription service that is $100 a year. It's like $12. It's like $13 a month or something like that. And all it lets you do is you can have a private server, which apparently don't work. It gives you. I'm trying to find like a list of what all it gives you. It's like 4 things that it gives you. It gives you this thing. I think it's called it's some sort of box or crate that gives you that you can like put all of your stuff in, and basically it's just unlimited storage, which is also broken because when people put stuff in it, their stuff disappears and they can't get to it. Anyway, just it's very, very minimal stuff. I'm really frustrated. I cannot find the like full list of like what all they had on here. I know here we go. Okay, all right. Private world scrap box is what I'm talking about. So unlimited storage that's eating their materials. There's a survival tent, which is kind of like a temporary. It's like a fast travel point. They get 1,650 atoms, which are like in-game currency. It's like bright dust or whatever. They get this exclusive Ranger outfit, which from what I remember seeing doesn't even look that cool. And then they get unique icons and emotes. For $12.99 a month, Steven, basically the only thing that you're getting recurring use of is the in-game currency, which I'll be honest, I wish that Destiny's season pass would include, hey, here's a couple bright dusts every month that you're in this service, but whatever. It's $100 for a year, Steven, and that's all they're getting. And what's real? So that was already, people were like, "You're kidding me? What? This is crazy. What? Why are you doing this?" And this is the people who have stuck with 76, right? Like you and I, Steven,
we're not the 2 people that actually kept playing.
Yeah. So now they're telling to the people who stuck with it, hey, if you really want to get this full experience, you got to pay $100 a year for this. And then the people who were still so committed and did that, their private worlds are busted, their scrap box is busted. There's all sorts of problems. So it's just been a mess. And I feel for them. It sucks, but like, how can you keep making so many mistakes? Like, this has just been a Christmas list, a grocery list of problems and mistakes that they've had with this game. And they can't catch a break. I don't know what, they gotta stop. It's just over.
I've been sitting back this whole time with everything that happens with 76, and I've just been having a ball. Like, I love watching this game blow up because Bethesda, for God knows how long, probably since Skyrim, has been untouchable. Mm-hmm. But they haven't deserved to be untouchable. They've screwed up a lot. They've games like companies like Ubisoft back in the day when they would have some bugs on legitimately good games, they got crucified for it.
Right.
Bethesda has bugs, and it's like, oh, it's so charming, Bethesda and their bugs. And then Bethesda's jokingly just like, oh, we're never gonna fix it because charming, right?
Right.
And everybody would just be like, oh, Todd Howard, he's so hot, I love him so much, marry me, Todd Howard. And now, here's Fallout 76, and it has shown that Bethesda is not only vulnerable, like they too are not invulnerable to the public opinion, but I don't think they realized that they weren't. And it's been beautiful watching them slowly realize
crap
that they can mess up, but like here the great thing is, they don't seem to learn that lesson. Because, like, every single time they do something, it's just like, and it'll work this time because we're Bethesda and we can't fail. We have Todd Howard. And it's like 2 years later, you're still saying this.
It's rough.
It's like, you have to wonder, like, how does someone drop the ball so bad? Because, like, you talking about, well, they have private servers, but they don't work. And they have
what's happening? Just to say truly what's happening, it's basically people are running through these private worlds. That it's my world, Steven. You can't come in it unless I want you to. The worlds they appear looted, like other people have gone through and take it, like there are treasure chests or loot boxes and stuff that are like just empty, and like someone's already come through here, and it's. And I can't remember exactly what Bethesda said about this matter, but they basically said like, oh, well, it's not that other people are in your world. It's just that particular instance of that box is empty or whatever, and it was left open.
It's not that there are other people in your server. It's that there's nothing at all in your server. Which like how... Like I need to see like the line of code that makes these two features that are supposed to be like the big selling points for this $100 subscription. I need to see the lines of code that make them do literally the opposite of what they're supposed to do and to make them fail so spectacularly. Because like, you remember that episode of Rick and Morty? When the devil comes to town,
yes,
and he sells all these artifacts, and it's like, ooh, you can do this, but there's a catch. That's literally Bethesda right now. Like, oh yeah, you've got this storage chest, but it'll eat your materials.
Like, you'll never see your materials again. It's unlimited storage, but you'll never see it again.
It literally feels like they are the devil peddling cursed objects for money.
And like,
Gosh, I love it.
The issue with that, they're saying that the materials aren't going away. They're in there. You just can't see them or access them. So, like, in theory, once they fix the bug, quote unquote, everyone's materials will still be there. It's just they'll now be able to get to them. But anyway,
that's hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like, because like that's comedic writing for a TV show. Like, well, here's the upside. But the downside completely counters the upside. There is no upside. It's been completely defeated by this downside. Like, you can't... Oh, man. I couldn't have written it better myself. Bethesda, thank you.
It almost sounds like something some writers of another game might have written to, poke fun at the franchise that they helped create but have now moved on to bigger and better things. What? If only there was a world where that existed, what would that be? Maybe something out of this world.
It wouldn't be,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be here. It would probably be like out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe out there world.
I'd say more than out there, like outer,
So even more outer.
Yeah, it's outer.
But like not as far as it. So not like outest.
Yeah.
Not outest.
Not outest. No. Bring it back a little bit. Outer. I like that. And then
outer world.
Screw
world?
one world. Let's just have plural world. That'd be
Plural?
worlds. So,
Outer
we need
worlds
something
exist.
that's outer this worlds, or just let's screw this. Let's just say outer worlds. Yeah, that'd be a crazy concept.
Welcome to Catch Up, everybody. We're gonna start by talking. We're gonna start by talking about the best Fallout game that you can play this year, Outer Worlds.
The best Fallout game you can play this year, Outer Worlds. I just want to say I'm really proud of that transition. Now continue, Steven. You've been playing Outer Worlds.
I've been playing Outer Worlds. So let me talk to you a little bit about what it's like to be a PC gamer right now. I wasn't sure about Outer Worlds because I hadn't looked much up. I like to do that with newer IPs that aren't multiplayer.
Right.
So I didn't look up much, but then I saw that talking about like companies that just don't seem to get it. Microsoft.
Yeah.
Real quick rant. Microsoft doesn't get it, but they don't get it in the direction that completely benefits the consumer and screws them over 100%.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft's just like, hey, we got this thing called, Games Pass.
Yeah.
That way you guys don't have to buy our exclusives. There's not many of them anyway. We got like 3. You can just play them all for like $5 a month.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
$10 a month. And it's like, okay, thanks, Microsoft. It's really generous, but like maybe you're lowering the value of the Xbox a little bit, and they're like, don't worry about it. And hey, for all you PC people, I know you don't want to have to buy an Xbox because no one wants to have an Xbox just to play Gears. So you know what, PC people, you get all of the Xbox games too. And we're just like, gosh, Microsoft, that's really cool of you, but doesn't that like cut your entire market in half? Like, don't worry about it. We're fine. We're Microsoft. Bill Gates doesn't know how much pizza rolls are worth. He thinks they're $22 a bag. So,
okay.
And then they're just like, you know what? This Games Pass thing, if there's anybody that doesn't have expendable income, it's people who make gaming PCs. So let's throw them a little bit of a bone. Not only can you have Games Pass for $5 a month, containing all of our exclusives and some that are not exclusive, let's give you the first month for $1.
Wow.
I got Games Pass for $1 for the month of October. Outer Worlds is on there. I've been playing Outer Worlds, which might be like it's easily in my top 3 favorite RPGs of all time. Just in my time that I played with it, playing it for $1, full game on PC for $1 because Games Pass, and every month after that's going to be $5. And
Games
that's
Pass
crazy.
is $5 a month.
On PC, apparently it is $5 a month.
How
after
much
that first
is
month.
Xbox Online a month?
Like, I think 10, 15, something like that.
That is
It's an absolute steal. It is an absolute steal on PC because you don't have to pay for live to play online. You can just play whenever you have internet. That's what it's for. So like Games Pass on PC, if you have a PC, like talking to all my PC people, if you have a PC, try Games Pass. Like seriously, Microsoft, they're being too nice. Like I'm waiting for the catch. I can't find it. Like, Games Pass is a really good deal.
Can you imagine? This is the world I want to live in next. I want to live in the world where PlayStation takes PSN and PlayStation Now, but makes it Xbox Game Pass, where you have the PlayStation Pass, the PP, and you.
Is this Death Stranding now?
Yeah. Maybe that's what it meant. And you get all your exclusives and your online service for let's just say $15 a month. Like, that's what I want.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up there.
Because I mean, if you think about it, because like right now PSN, I think and you can get better deals than this, but like I pay $60 a year, which is the price of one game, for online service through the PlayStation for a year.
Right.
So if you broke that down into months, it wouldn't be very expensive. But wow. But what if you could play? Like, what if all exclusives came? I'm sorry, I'm just in a dream world right now.
So you could pay $100 to play to do either all the PlayStation stuff for a year Fallout
Or you
76
could have a
cursed
private
items
world
for a year.
in Fallout 76. It's crazy.
Oh my god, this is the great news section.
Sorry, that blows my mind thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because it's like
So
Disney Plus, which gives you Hulu and ESPN Plus, is like $13 a month. And you're telling me that I can have a private world in Fallout 76, a game that I paid for? I can have
So
a
you mean to
private
tell me
world for
I can
almost
have-
that much?
you mean to tell me I can have either the entire library from the biggest media empire in existence right now, or I can have a black hole chest that takes all my things and puts them in.
I'll take 12.
Give me 12.
I mean, what?
Oh my god.
It's horrible. How? How did they screw that up so bad? You can
Oh my
Xbox
gosh.
Game Pass, which gives you pretty much anything on the Xbox system for $5 a month, and you want me to have a private world where people have already stolen all my shit? What? Sorry, I've fallen off a deep trail here. Let's move on. Outer Worlds, Stephen. What is Outer Worlds about?
Okay. So, God, this was a great podcast. Recommend to your friends. This is a great one to jump in. So Outer Worlds is made by Obsidian. Obsidian made the original Fallout games, I believe, up to 3, which is when Bethesda started. They made Pillars of Eternity, which is an excellent RPG. They made Fallout New Vegas. They've made a lot of good games that, honestly, I can't think of a single game they've made that people didn't like. They are kind of like the low-key RPG kings, honestly. So they made this game called Outer Worlds. For anyone who knows what Firefly is, Firefly or Serenity, it's that. It's literally that. It is literally a Firefly video game. And it's amazing. Like it plays like a Fallout game that knows how shooting mechanics work, which is really refreshing. You have a crew of likable, very diverse characters. They're all very different and play off each other really well, and I like all of them so far. You can make your character basically however you want. My character is a smooth talker. Like, he's got really high speech skills. So, like this one guy, one of the first missions, like I guess the first planet in the game, when you're trying to leave, there's this like fat cat mayor pretty much. He's this guy that is running the town, and he's running it into the ground basically.
I love that term. I love that description, because like when you first told me that, I literally imagined a humanoid cat man who was fat, but that's not what you mean.
No, it's a regular looking guy who is running this town into the ground and thinks he's doing fine. And my speech skills are so great, I convinced this man to quit his job and give it to the very woman that he was going up against, basically. Because she could do better. And that conversation landed on me being like, Reed, you won't last a week out there. And he just went, well, I reckon I'll last 2. And then I never saw him again.
He didn't even last 2 days.
No. So just to give a quick like overview of this game's story, I'm going to talk about like overall what the game is, and then I'll talk about the first few minutes so that you can understand kind of the tone of the game and how good the humor is. So the game takes place in a version of space that is basically run by corporations. There are all these different big manufacturers of whatever that kind of call the shots and have like a board, and I'm still getting into the story, but basically there's like Spacer's Choice, who's a big company that kind of reminds me of, it's like Great Value. It's kind of like Walmart, honestly, where it's just like they sell everything for really cheap, but like they actually know that it's cheap. Like their catchphrase is, "You've had the best, here's the rest, Spacer's Choice," because they know that it's garbage. So there's other corporations too that you can go on missions for because you are basically a freelancer. You are the captain of a ship with your crew that does odd jobs. So it's literally Firefly, like you're a mercenary. So it's an interesting interpretation of space because it's almost like Borderlands if it wasn't written by a 12-year-old. And I appreciate that. Because Borderlands has that interesting concept of everything is run by corporations. You've got Hyperion, Maliwan, Torg, Vladoff, what have you. Like Borderlands does a lot with that, but this game takes that concept seriously while still being hilarious.
Right.
So the game begins. You are one of many colonists in a ship called the Hope, I think, that have been sent in cryosleep to colonize a new corner of space. Something goes wrong, and your ship is left to basically float away with no help being sent. This guy named Phineas flies over to the Hope. He's like a scientist because he hears what's going on, and he has time to save one person. That one person is you. And that's where you create your character, is when he's looking through the logs to see who's available. You are like checking boxes like, I have aptitude with guns and I have aptitude with intelligence. And so it's almost like you're fitting what he's looking for. So he saves you. Then he has to leave. And then he basically tells you like, hey, I'm going to drop you on this planet so that you can meet up with this guy named Captain Alex Hawthorne. He's a grade A smuggler, got his own ship. It'll be good. He'll guide you to where you need to be. So you drop in your cryopod, or in the escape pod. I don't know if they're one and the same, and you land, and that's where the gameplay begins. You walk out, and Phineas is like, "All right, now where's Hawthorne? He should be here. Like the indicator shows that you're right on top of him." And then like you turn around and look, your escape pod literally landed on Alex Hawthorne, and he's dead. Like, it's literally Wizard of Oz, Wicked Witch of the East. You just see the bottom of his body and his legs just sticking out from under the ship.
Do you take his shoes?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you
missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll go back and see if I can take his shoes.
Could have been teleporting shoes. How cool would that be?
That would have been amazing. So Phineas is like, oh, that idiot. Okay, well, don't let his ship go to waste. Just let's take it. So you are walking through what is now in basically the outskirts of a town. I think Sweetwater, maybe what it's called. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been there.
Really?
But what?
Sweetwater?
It's something with water and something that starts with S. I don't think it's Sweetwater because I think you and I are thinking of the same Sweetwater, like the company.
Is that what I'm thinking of? I feel like there's a Sweetwater. I feel like a lot of Westerns have a town, like an early town called Sweetwater.
Maybe that is it then.
I could be mixing a lot of different things there.
Stillwater. That's what it's called. Stillwater.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
Still, regardless.
Okay. So
you're
you're
an Easter egg, but go ahead.
Yeah. You're making your way to Stillwater, and there are marauders everywhere, which are basically bandits that eat humans. And you run into this guy.
They're called cannibals, Steven.
Well, I don't know if they are themselves human.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Cannibal is what eats its own species.
Yeah.
So you find this guy who's like leaned up against the wall of a cave, and he just looks at you. He's the first NPC you talk to. He looks at you and just goes, "You've had the best. Here's the rest. Spacer's choice. I've been shot." And
I just want to stop you and say that was a great Rick impression that you just did.
Thanks. And he's just like, "Yeah, my gun shot me in the back. I don't know how." And it's just like, "Well, you're using Spacer's choice. What did you expect? It's the rest." So I convince him. I give him medical treatment, and then I convince him, "Hey, give me your gun. I'll go get help." And so that's what I do. I go and I find these other two guards that are right out, like they're overlooking where the ship, the Unreliable, is landed. And I talk to this lady. She's like, "Get over here. You'll get yourself killed." And I'm talking to her, and she's just like, "Some idiot landed their spacecraft in the middle of nowhere, and it caused marauders to just go berserk. I was that idiot. My escape pod was the spacecraft. And so I basically said to the lady, I was like, well, I bet these marauders know who did it. The marauders probably did it themselves. And she's like, you know what? You're probably right. We should do something about it. And so I convinced these 2 guards to go and fight the marauders, to get basically using their help to clear the unreliable so that I can get off of Stillwater.
Uh-huh.
And is it Stillwater? I don't know. We're just going to say it's Stillwater.
I'm going to Google things.
Yeah, thank you. They die immediately, those 2 guards. And but I still managed to kill all the marauders. So I go inside the ship, and this is all like the first 10 minutes of me playing this game. I love it. I go into the ship, and this AI named Ada is like, intruder detected, warning, I will commence countermeasures shortly if you don't leave. And I go up and talk to her, and she's like, you have 3 seconds to vacate this ship before I like jettison the doors and send you out into space. And then she counts down like 3, 2, 1. And I have the dialogue option while she's counting. And I just say, you know, we're on ground, right? And she just goes, oh, you're still here. My bluff didn't work. Hey, what's going on? Basically. And so I talked to this AI, and she's like, I can only answer to Captain Hawthorne. And I'm just like, oh man, he was killed by marauders. Because my guy has speechcraft. Even like I started him out with really high speech. So I lied. I lied to this computer and was like, your captain was killed by marauders. I'm so sorry. Dang, darn marauders. And so she was like, oh, well, that complicates things. I can only take orders from Captain Alex Hawthorne. So what do we do next, Captain Alex Hawthorne? And I was like, what? And she said, I can only take orders from Alex Hawthorne. So do we have an understanding, Captain? And I was like, yes, we do. Captain Alex Hawthorne reporting for duty. Thank you, Ada. And she goes, excellent. Your deductive reasonings are still intact. Okay, here's what we need to do. She just that quickly replaced her captain. Like, here, you make a good Alex Hawthorne. So as soon as I left, there was this old man who was just, I never even saw him again. He was just some nosy guy.
Edgewater, Stephen.
Edgewater. That's what it is.
Okay, so let me just I've made this interruption. I'm just going to clear up where I was in my head, okay?
Yeah.
Rango, movie starring Johnny Depp.
That movie that no one remembers.
Oh, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. There is a town called Dirt that I was thinking was Sweetwater because I think at the end of the movie they change it to Sweetwater. I didn't get that far. Sweetwater is a real town in Texas.
Okay.
Which, again, would tie into the Western theme.
It's a space Western, yeah.
Your town is called Edgewater.
Edgewater. I think I was getting it confused with Saints Row because I think Stillwater is Saints Row. Okay, Edgewater. Cool.
Edgewater. So, anyway.
Okay, so this guy comes up to me, this old guy, and he's like, well, I came to talk to those guards, but I see they're dead. And I just went, yeah, they had a bit of an altercation with the locals. And this guy just goes, that's a shame. Spacer's Choice strictly prohibits dying on the line of duty. I'm going to have to dock their paychecks for that one. It's like, dude, they're literally dead. That woman doesn't have a face anymore. It got shot off. What are you talking about?
That woman doesn't have a face anymore.
So I go into Edgewater and I get a bunch of quests. But one of the quests, and I'm almost done with my recap. I can't stress enough how great this game was and how well it took off running with its writing and its humor. I go up to this guy who's trying to collect grave fees. Which basically these people are paying part of their paycheck to Spacer's Choice to have a grave plot ready for their untimely death. And so I go up to this lady who works at the foundry, and I'm just like, hey, I'm here to collect this money. And she's just like, fine, whatever. Okay, here you go. Now get out of here. And I guess because I had high perception, I had the option to say, wait, these papers that's not your name. And she was just like, Oh yeah, the grave is for a guy who worked here. He killed himself, and since I was his closest living relative, I had to pay for the fees. It's a shame because he was a really good worker. And so I, of course, because I try to work people best I can, I'm a speech specialist. So
Right.
I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. It must be hard losing a family member. And she just goes, what are you talking about? We weren't related. And I just went, okay, I'm so sorry. It must have been hard losing a close relative. And she just goes, oh, you don't understand. When he killed himself, I was the closest living person relative to where he was. So I had to pay. It's the law.
That's funny.
And so she's just like, yeah, suicide here is vandalism because like you get blood everywhere. So I had to pay for that fee. And it's just like, oh my God.
That's such a horrible way of looking at suicide.
But it's such a bleak future because it's like where everything is corporate and run by big companies. But it's just, it manages to be like serious and thought provoking, but still just get legitimate laughter out of you. But not like the way Borderlands does, where they tickle that side of your funny bone that stopped aging at the age of 12.
Yeah, they tickle your fart joke bone.
Yeah, exactly. Like this game is legitimately funny, and like as I've been playing it, I've been going to different planets, doing different jobs, meeting different people, and it's a space western RPG in its truest form, and it's the kind of game where like there are set quests, there is a set story, but that mayor that I mentioned, I talked him down. I talked him into quitting his job. I had a decision where it was either the moral victory or the logical victory. It was not the right or wrong choice. It was basically freedom or safety was my decision. And I thought I would be stuck with one of those two. And because of my speechcraft and because I saw the connection, I managed to have both. So I managed to talk him into leaving, and everyone was safe. But on the same side of the coin, when you go to meet that guy, you could walk into his office, pop one in between his eyes, and be done. Just be like,
the same
all right.
result. Yep.
Technically not the same result. Like you would miss out on a lot of XP and some rewards, but like you could potentially shoot him in the head and then go find Abigail and be like, oh yeah, Reed's dead. I killed him. Take the job. Basically.
Yeah.
But like it's so open-ended. When you kill NPCs, you can kill any of them. Except for your companions, but I think they might be able to die in certain circumstances. But it lets you kill anybody. There's no respawning, so everything you do is permanent. It's just it harkens back to what RPGs used to be, you know, before they became so concerned with DLC roadmaps and microtransactions and just longevity and everything. It's just a game that feels complete, that feels like it was made in like 2010 maybe, right. But it looks good, it plays great. I'm really blown away. I've been really impressed. If you have a PC, seriously, get that Games Pass subscription, even if it's just for a month. You just got to pay $1. You can play Outer Worlds. You can play all of it. That's what I'm doing. It's been great. I recommend the game. It's a new contender for me for Game of the Year. No joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
You kind of selling me on it. I kind of like the idea of creating a character who is maxed out in speech and perception and like talking people down and doing a no-kill playthrough where I just convince people to do things for me.
Combat is inevitable in certain cases with like marauders. You can't dog down marauders or with creatures, but you can have two companions at once. So you could max out your speechcraft and your leadership skills, which is that's my second highest thing is my leadership. But I've got good gunslinging, like I've got good handguns, so I'm a gunslinger at the same time. But you can basically have, you can use swords. Yeah.
What about bows?
No.
I'm good with swords.
Okay.
You're selling me on this, Steven.
I figured I would. Oh yeah, this is a sales pitch segment, I guess. Graphic here, graphic
for me.
here. So, You can use swords. You can pretty much never fire a gun. And just have your teammates do it all for you. You could be somebody that doesn't want to get your hands dirty. You want to talk your way out of situations. Or Game Informer did this, and it was hilarious. Early footage that they released like a month ago. They were like, here's an early copy we got, and we did 2 hours of gameplay. And the playthrough is someone who is absolutely maxed out in strength and absolutely zeroed out in intelligence. So we're an idiot, and we just kill everything we see. And they did that to where like they just carried a big stick with a ball at the end, and anyone they came in contact with, they murdered. Like they did that thing where you walk into Reed's office and they killed him. And then Pavardi, who's the first companion you get, she looks at you and just goes, "You just killed him." And because the character was an idiot, they had a dumb dialogue option, and they were just like, "Oh, is that what I did? Oh, okay." Like something like that. And so Pavardi was so scared of this just idiot strongman that she joined him and just wouldn't, because she was probably thinking like, if I leave, he will kill me.
Yeah.
So like it's just very open-ended, like how you want to approach the universe, and it's really good. Like it's just solid RPG, great work from Obsidian. I really hope it gets more DLC or a sequel or whatever. Like I would gladly pay for an expansion of this game. I'm considering buying it for PS4 just so that I can more comfortably play it with Anna sitting there with me, because she loves Firefly like I do.
Just about to ask if it's out on PS4. So
yeah, it's coming to Switch too, which really surprised me.
Wow.
I don't know how well that would run. Like the maps aren't huge, so it can take it, but it would probably have some pretty significant visual drop.
Yeah. No. That's a PlayStation game. It's not a Switch game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting. Well, I've just been playing a lot of Destiny, so I won't go as into detail as Steven has, but the Leviathan's Breath heroic exotic bow recently came out. I guess it was this past week. It's good. I got it. It's easy to get, which I appreciate. It's not, incredibly difficult or long kind of quest where you have to do the raid or anything crazy. It's actually a kind of fun quest because the very first step is you go talk to Banshee, and he's like, "Yo, I found this cool weapon. It's in my workshop, but I forgot how to get into my workshop. So, like, if you can figure it out, you can have it."
That's so sad.
I know. He still doesn't remember Kate either, and it's horribly sad. Anyway, so you have to find a way into Banshee's workshop, which Steven, I don't know if you even knew this because I didn't realize how this worked, but when you go towards the hangar area of the tower, you when you spawn in, you kind of turn left and you go down a hallway kind of, but like as you pass that hallway, there's kind of like a service window that like there's a bot standing in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So that's like part of Banshee's workshop. So like you can get into that room. And it's cool. So anyway, I liked it because I saw parts of the tower that I've been playing this game for 2 years a lot, and I've never seen. So that was fun. So I got to go all up in the tower. I learned all sorts of things I didn't know. But you eventually get to the workshop, and the bow is in a locked locker, but you can see it. And so you go back to Banshee and are like, "Yo, it's locked." And he's like, "Oh, well, here's a card key. Like, go start doing this, and it should power up or whatever." So then you have to go do a couple things, and I don't even really remember what the quest steps were. They weren't hard. I think I did it in like 2 hours. But come back, get the bow. And I was like, well, I got to try this out. I got to see how this is. And it's cool. I love bows, obviously. I pretty much exclusively use bows in Destiny. I pretty much, and
this
really it's
fool
kind of funny.
Didn't you like have 2 bows at one point when we were doing something? Because like I remember seeing you like in a corner shoot something, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm out of ammo," and you put it on your back, and you just pulled out another one. You just kept shooting.
I have 3 bows now, Steven.
Oh my god.
No, so I pretty much exclusively I seriously, like, I pretty much only use bows. If I'm doing a quest that involves me doing something else, I'll do it, but I hate it. I pretty much only use bows. I'm trying to think of the name of the bow that I use all the time. It's the Awoken one. It's the really hard, you have to get the Shattered Throne to do it.
Oh, gosh.
It's got its exotic ability is like the Queen's Wrath, and you can see people coming. It's the PvE bow. I mean, the PvP bow. Crap.
I don't know. Let's move on. I'll look it up.
Anyway, I pretty much exclusively use that, and then Le Monarch and the lightning, the arc one. So I like bows. Yeah, Trinity's cool. Thank you. Still don't know what the other one is. I want to say the Awoken one. That's not right. Anyway, Leviathan's Breath. I like all that to say I use bows a lot. So you would think here's a powerful bow that I should be pretty good with it. And it's not that I'm bad with it, but it's cool. What is it called?
Wish Ender.
Wish Ender. I pretty much use that because it's powerful on its own. I don't know. And it's the thing that I've got leveled up right now. I'm not leveling anything until I get to 950. And then once I hit 950, I'll start leveling up all of my gear to 950. But anyway, I digress. I'm digressing a lot. I use bows a lot. Leviathan's Breath is fine. It hits hard, but not so hard that I think it justifies that slot.
Yeah. Like
DPS-wise, it's horrible. Which, like, bows aren't great at DPS anyway. But, like, your average bow, you can be firing a shot. You can be firing one shot every half second or so. Or maybe a full second. But this bow, it's like 3. It literally takes 3 seconds to completely draw the bow. And then if you have it at full draw, when you hit your target, it creates a concussive blast that throws other enemies. And any smaller enemies, like red health enemies, it kills. So that's fun. But I don't know. And it also I don't know if stun or disorient is the right word, but there's a specific term for what it does to enemies once they're hit. And it has something to do with the new nightmare enemies that are kind of thrown into the mix everywhere. It can automatically pierce those bubbles, I'm pretty sure, is part of it. So it's cool. It's got a lot of use for what's happening right now in the game, but I don't know how much use it'll have later. So I don't know, because it's an exotic. I'm probably not going to have it in my power slot because typically I'm using a sword or hammerhead, I think is what it's called, which is like the machine gun, heavy machine gun. That's kind of like if I mean business, like if I'm trying to kill something, that's typically what I have. And then I've got Wish Ender or something like, or Le Monarch or something else equipped as my exotic, because that's what I'm going to be primarily using. So anyway, it's cool. It's fine. I'm loving Destiny right now. It's a lot of fun. Good. I'm going through. I love the season pass. I think it's great. I wish it didn't take so long to get through the season pass, like the battle pass type system that they have, because there's like 40 days left, which is like a whole month, so that's a lot of time. But I'm like on unlock tier 30, and I've played a lot of the game, but I know people who are already on like tier 150 and who like had gotten through the whole thing in one day. So I'd love to have as much time as those people, but I also kind of think I maybe wouldn't want to have as much time as those people. But anyway, all that to say, I've been watching a lot of videos about XP farming, and so I've learned kind of a new I kind of have a chart of like, as a weekly reset happens, like these are the things I'm going to do first. I kind of have a new system I'm going to try for that order, and then it also kind of gives me some like, once you've done all your weeklies, here's the order you should be doing daily bounties, and this will help you get more experience and burn through that faster. So anyway, the Halloween event starts next week. I'm going to get that broom sparrow, and probably I'm knocking on something, and I know Steven's not going to believe me, but I'm probably never going to use another sparrow.
Okay.
I was waiting for some comment from Steven. I buy a lot of sparrows on that game and earn a lot of sparrows because I like the sparrows.
You buy a lot of stuff on that game.
It's mostly sparrows and other stuff. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. I got the cat ghost last year during the Halloween event. I pretty much just delete all other ghosts because that is my cat ghost. I've named it Gatsby after my late cat, and he's my ghost. I will never change that ghost unless they come out with a new cat ghost that maybe looks better than that one, but I doubt it. There's a bat ghost that's coming out that looks cool, but I'm not. No. I've got my ghost. My ghost is solved. This broom may be my answer to what sparrow do I use at all times. But I could be wrong. I might switch it up. Kind of what I do now is every time I check my inventory to like delete things, I go down and I switch out my finisher and I switch out my sparrow just for the heck of it.
Well,
it's a lot of fun. I'm loving Destiny right now.
Yeah, cool.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortlecast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, you're already on chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the show. We appreciate it. You can also listen to this on iTunes podcast services. You can leave us a review there. Really helps people find the show on that platform. You can also follow us on social media at Chortle Games on Facebook and Twitter. You can also join our Discord. There's a link in the description of this video, or you can go to our channel page, and there's a little button on the top right of the banner. Click that, and you join, you have a great fun. We post memes and other fun content. And it's especially going to be important that you do that this week because Extra Life. Yes. I'll get there again in a second. So, this isn't the only thing we do. Podcast is 12 o'clock Central Time every Monday. That we get to film it. Sometimes we miss because of unexpected problems. But every Monday, 12 o'clock Central Time, this show airs. We do this. We talk about it. We have a great time. This week, it's going to be a packed week, just to be honest with you. It's going to be crazy. Monday night, Steven is going to be playing Division 2 with another channel who we're friends with called Friendly Fire Games. Y'all are going to be doing some Division 2 stream. Hanging out.
Jeremy might be there depending on if we've got a fourth slot, so it could just be a triple channel stream.
Jeremy from 8-Bit Gamesters, who we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with this week as well. So that'll be fun. Check that out if you're catching the show here. You can look forward to that tonight. Tuesday and sometimes Thursday, we do what we like to call tea time, which is where me and Steven team up and play a co-op game. Destiny 2 is having their Halloween event. It starts Tuesday, October 29th. Originally, we were going to do that, but we also kind of just made the connection that, Thursday is Halloween. So we might stream Destiny, its Halloween event, the Festival of the Lost, on Thursday. Or we might do a spoopy game, but we're trying to figure out how that would work. We kind of just made that connection of like, it's Halloween Thursday. So we might try to do something. We're going to see how that works out. Either way, we will probably be streaming Thursday, either Destiny 2 or a spoopy game. Either way, it'll be Halloween themed because it's going to be Festival of the Lost. You never know. I got to get that broom somehow.
We might even like go on a haunted house tour and stream that. You don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen, but if Steven's going to really pull out all the stops somehow and make that happen, that'd be interesting.
See, I wasn't planning on it, but I just wanted to make them think that I was thinking about it.
I'm not going to set their expectations that high and disappoint them. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Bethesda. I had flashes of Bethesda again, and then I laughed to myself.
Wednesday, we will have a Let's Play for you. It's going to be me playing Hitman. It's actually going to be a kind of a supercut of this this Saturday's stream of me playing Hitman. I thought a lot of really funny moments happened that I think would make really funny edits for a Let's Play, so we're going to do that. So if you haven't seen that stream, you can either go watch it and kind of see how the magic happens on an edit for Wednesday's Let's Play. But anyway, it's going to be that. And then, like I said, Thursday we'll be streaming something. Then Friday, ladies and gentlemen, Extra Life, 24-hour stream supporting Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, Blair A. Batson Children's Hospital here in Jackson. It's who we're supporting. That will start Friday night. That's November 1st at 7 p.m. Central Time. And it will go until November 2nd. That's a Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Literally, Steven's already on it. Literally 24 hours. It's 24 hours. We're going to be live streaming. So we're going to have a lot of fun games. We're probably going to do Destiny, Anthem, and we've got some other fun things mixed in there. We've got some stuff that we've never done videos of. We've got some stuff that we haven't played in a long time, like almost a year. So there will be some kind of classic Chortle Games stuff coming back. And then just some other surprises, some fun ideas that me and Steven had that we thought would be good with that. Like we also said at the top of the show, there are going to be reward tiers for that. So you can make me and Steven do funny things for money. That's all going to support children. So we're doing it for the kids. It's going to be great.
For the kids.
For the kids. It's going to be great. But anyway, that's going to be Friday, 7 o'clock Central Time.
And don't you dare ask us to stream again on Saturday night.
Yeah, no, that is going to be the Friday night and Saturday night streams. But to be honest with you, like, even if you tune into us like on a normal Saturday night, like, it'll be early because like we'd be ending at 7 p.m. Normally we'd start a stream at 7 p.m. But like we've had early streams on Saturdays where we like started at 5. You know,
that's what I'm saying though. Is like if someone messages us on Discord, like Saturday at 7:30, and they're like, "Is there going to be a stream tonight?" I might kill that person. I might actually commit murder.
They just get a block. It's like blocked. You're not in the Discord anymore. But anyway, no, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I assume at this point right now, fresh on a Sunday before this 24-hour live streaming, I'm assuming we'll probably have a podcast next Monday. But we'll see how that 24-hour live stream goes. We may be too dead to do a podcast next week. But anyway, we will probably have content next week, at the very least a live stream on Tuesday or Thursday, and then our normal live stream set up on Fridays and Saturdays. So don't forget, Extra Life, Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time is when it's starting, going till Saturday, 7 o'clock Central Time. If you want to donate, you can already go right now to chortlegamesextralife.com. Make a donation. We appreciate it. The kids appreciate it. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Steven, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here, listening, watching. We'll see you maybe tonight for Steven's stream. If not then, some other time. Bye.
Bye.
Extra Life Friday, 7 o'clock Central Time. Saturday, 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll see you there.
Make the podcast haunted.
Woo-hoo.
Beep it up,